The MMA world lit up again when Yuri Prochazka decided to call out Tom Aspinall. Not with soft words, but with a kind of raw warrior energy that defines his very existence. After Aspinall's controversial eye poke incident led to a sudden stoppage, Yuri made it clear that in his world, a real fighter keeps going no matter what. If you can still stand, if you can still breathe, you fight. That's the code he lives by, and in his recent conversation with Michael Bisping, he didn't hold back. For Yuri, fighting isn't just a career or sport, it's a spiritual calling. So when he saw a fighter bow out after something that, in his eyes, didn't warrant surrender, it hit him deeply. But that was just the beginning of a wild, almost mystical interview that only Yuri Prochazka could deliver. Between philosophical reflections and talk of honor, he revealed his burning desire to face Alex Pereira for a third time. The first two fights, according to Yuri, were far from a fair reflection of what he can do. The first bout, he said, came on short notice, and the second? He was battling a staph infection that would have forced most fighters to withdraw. But Yuri didn't, because in his mind, champions don't pull out of title fights. It's not about the belt, it's about the principle. He wanted to stand in that octagon and fight, no matter what his body was going through. Now, he believes it's time to rewrite that story, with a full camp, clean health, and the pure focus of a samurai preparing for war. Yuri's eyes gleamed when he talked about his next big mission, bringing the light heavyweight belt back to the Czech Republic. That goal burns brighter than anything else. He spoke of it not like an athlete chasing glory, but like a man reclaiming a part of his soul. Only after he achieves that, he said, will he even consider moving down to middleweight. For him, the belt isn't just a symbol. It's proof that the spirit of the warrior still thrives in a world obsessed with comfort. Then came that moment every Yuri interview seems destined to have. The strange, almost eerie story that makes you question whether you're listening to a fighter or a wandering monk. He described, with calm amusement, how he sometimes trains completely naked in his forest dojo, surrounded by nature, feeling the icy bite of the river before plunging into the heat of a sauna. To him, it's not eccentricity, it's balance. He spoke of the cold and heat, the silence and pain, as a dance between chaos and order. The way he described it, you could almost see it. A man alone in the wilderness, stripped of everything, pushing his limits to understand himself. When Bisping brought up the eye poke incident again, Yuri didn't flinch. He leaned into it, his voice steady but charged with conviction. To him, a warrior never lets pain or accident dictate his fate. He believes that fights should be finished, no matter what happens, as long as you can still move. He spoke of the countless times he's been kicked low, punched illegally, or faced unfair situations, but never once did it occur to him to quit. In his words, you adapt, recover, and find a way. Maybe, he said, Aspinall overthought it, calculating too much instead of relying on instinct. For Yuri, fighting isn't mathematics, it's chaos and courage woven together. While Yuri's words stirred the fighting community, another warrior stepped into the spotlight. Merab Dvalishvili, the relentless Georgian machine. Just weeks before his next title defense, he revealed how he accepted the rematch with Petr Yan on short notice. Most fighters would wait for the perfect moment, but not Merab. He said that sitting idle wasn't an option. If he didn't fight this year, he'd be sidelined until spring, and that kind of stagnation would kill his momentum. To him, staying active is part of the grind. Fighting is not something you wait for. It's something you live for. Merab also opened up about one of the few times he ever saw Dana White truly angry. It wasn't about money, or a press conference gone wrong. It was because Merab refused to fight his best friend, Aljamain Sterling. At that time, Sterling was the champion, and Dana wanted the bout to happen. But Merab refused out of loyalty. He said Aljo had stood beside him through every training camp, through every hardship, and there was simply no universe where he'd ever face him in the cage. It was one of those rare glimpses into the old-school code of brotherhood that's becoming rare in modern MMA. As for what's next, Merab didn't shy away from the idea of a future super fight with Alexander Volkanovski. He made it clear that while it's not on his immediate radar, it's something he wouldn't rule out. Once he cleans out the bantamweight division, once there are no challengers left, he might look upward. A fight with Volkanovski, he admitted, would be something special, a clash of energy, speed, and heart. But for now, his focus remains on Yen, a man he respects yet intends to dominate once again. Then came the rising Spanish phenom, Ilia Topuria, lighting the MMA scene ablaze with his latest announcement. Speaking with Spanish media, Ilia dropped bombshell after bombshell. His first message was clear. His January fight plans remain untouched by his brother Alex's upcoming bout in Qatar. There would be no distractions, no overlapping camps. He's fully focused, fully prepared, and hungrier than ever. But what sent shockwaves through the MMA world was his next revelation. The UFC event in Spain is closer than anyone realizes. Behind the scenes, deals are being finalized, details ironed out, and momentum building fast. For years, fans have begged for the UFC to hold a card in Spain. According to Ilia, the only obstacle had been the ESPN broadcasting deal, but that barrier is now gone. Ilia painted the picture vividly. Massive progress, major names being discussed, and serious talks about hosting the card at the legendary Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. He couldn't give an exact date or lineup yet, but his confidence said it all. It's happening, and it's going to be monumental. For Spanish fans, this is more than an event. It's history in the making. Meanwhile, the middleweight division continued to heat up as Robert Whittaker publicly called out Sean Strickland for a potential clash on the historic White House card in June 2026. Whittaker, known for his calm demeanor and respectful attitude, said the fight isn't about bad blood, it's about challenge. He loves Strickland's style, the constant pressure, the raw pace, and believes a victory over him would put him right back in the title picture. Fans immediately began buzzing. Two high-level strikers, both relentless, both driven. It's the kind of matchup that reminds everyone why this sport is so addictive. And as if that wasn't enough drama, podcast hosts began speculating that Dricus du Plessis's next opponent might be Brendan Allen, a surging contender who's been making waves after defeating Rainier de Ridder. Allen has his eyes locked on the title, promising to give Khamzat Chimaev the toughest challenge of his career. But before he can even dream of that, he knows he needs one or two more big wins. The middleweight division right now is an active battlefield, stacked with killers: Fluffy Hernandez, Dricus, Strickland, and more. Every victory feels like a small war won, every loss a fall from grace. From warriors like Yuri Prochazka embracing ancient philosophies in the forest, to modern machines like Merab Dvalishvili refusing to rest, and rising stars like Ilia Topuria bringing the UFC to new territories, one thing remains clear: MMA is evolving faster than ever. It's not just a sport anymore. It's a living, breathing world of stories, each more intense than the last. So, what do you think? Was Yuri right to criticize Tom Aspinall for not continuing after the eye poke, or was Aspinall justified in stopping to protect his vision? Should Merab take on Volkanovski after cleaning out the division? And could the UFC event in Spain truly redefine European MMA? Let us know your thoughts below, and if you love the fight game as much as we do, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more daily MMA news, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the stories that shape the world of combat sports.